I've seen forms of beauty I didn't know existed before. I've seen beautiful ways of living I didn't know existed before. I feel like there's a lot to figure out, and I don't think there's any one answer, whether it be the global problems we have, the economic problems we have, the societal problems we have, all the way down to like just the personal problems we have, like either mental health, physical health, medicine, education, and like there's so much to it that I feel like it'd be very impossible for there to be one correct answer. I was expecting one day to understand fully, and I grew up to a place where I'm like, oh, no, we're all figuring this out. And that's kind of beautiful and magical because we all have our own journey to figure it out. And so we all get to live a different truth. There's no like sustainable, consistent thing for everybody. Choreography allows a physical representation of what my brain is trying to say and trying to do. How do I move this arm? How do I move this foot? Where do I look? And of course, there's always cases where that kind of choice or that kind of decision-making or that kind of like finding your truth can be very scary. So especially for people who don't have experience moving their body in that way. I've seen people get to express ideas and concepts they've never known any other way to express or discuss, whether it be the truth of like their physical body being capable to do something when they were told they weren't, whether it be something as simple as I seen a kid do a dance about a fruit they love because I said, this can be our project we do. And they're like, this is all I want to do. To kids never setting foot in front of an audience before because it's too scary, unless I get to do this one thing and like to validate that like, no, that's a perfectly acceptable way to move. It's such a pleasure to watch people discover themselves further and to continue learning and growing and to share that with other people. It's been so beautiful to watch people just create for the sake of creation for their own brain and body. And I think that's like the heart and root for my passion for dance. I feel like it's one of the closest I've ever felt to like real magic in the world. And for that magic to touch and affect other people and to not be the sole creator of that magic, just like offering a tool for someone else to take it and lead it and create magic on their own. There's definitely a lot of people who seem like they're in a box and it seems like the real them is like screaming to get out. I think when people talk about fully spreading your wings, it's always discussed in the connotation of like reaching your full potential. We all have the capability to already be our full potential in a lot of ways. And to me, that's more honest to the descriptor of like spreading your wings, to like you on your journey to your full truth, your full potential. I think we all have the capabilities to just sit down on our nest and fully spread our wings as we are. And I think if we were able to accept this truth that like we can spread where we are, we can find this nice little blend of I love you for who you are. I see you and I appreciate you and you appreciate yourself, and we can still keep moving forward. And like, I don't know, we can always shed and grow new wings, but like, I definitely think this concept of I can't wait does impede people seeing each other's beauty, and even beauty in ourselves a lot of time. So like, I need to get this degree, or I need to get this job to be worthy, or I need to move or start a family to be worthy. My father, who sure said his own things, but like a lot of things that were said to me were also said to him, and to watch him in his older age just start to learn and break those norms was really inspiring too. Being another person of color, somebody I was related to, be like, it's okay to cry. He spent a lot of his life in rehab. It was okay to try to work on yourself. And also with all that, have the self-respect he did. He still went to work every day. He still did perform his job when a lot of people would be like, oh, you're nothing now that you're doing all this, and would give up or just like take themselves out of the equation because they see how everybody else sees them. And he didn't care how everybody else saw him. And that was like, oh, like I can like survive on my own welfare, or like how I see myself. Even just very small, but like he'll live different truths in his own circle. And I definitely think he inspired the person I am today with that foundation for me to even take that further. Even if at times he disapproved of the truths I was living, I think he was already proud because he saw the path I was taking, and he knew I was going to go further and do better than he could ever ask for. And I do think he lives through me in a lot of ways, even to this day. Everyone has a natural beauty they're entitled to just by being. Even if they didn't make a good decision or the right decision or just a different decision than me, that doesn't define them, and that doesn't negate their beauty. Sometimes really, really hard to remember you don't need everyone to see it. And just because everyone doesn't see your beauty, it doesn't negate what you have to offer. And I think that's a really important truth to consistently remind not only myself, but to share and remind others. It's still hard to accept I have beautiful qualities because I'm always looking for ways to improve myself. There's some truth about like sitting in the moment and being present and realizing everything you do have to offer the world. I'll always make mistakes. We're human. We all make mistakes. And to not settle on it, like I'll have to like close my eyes, take a breath, let it go, and move on so that I can do better or just like do me in the moments moving forward. Especially if you're training or practicing by yourself, it's very quiet. There's no one's thoughts or breaths to hear but your own. And it forces you to kind of sit with yourself and definitely learn about yourself and learn what your body needs and how to be kind to yourself. There's mirrors everywhere, and like you can't help but see yourself and critique yourself. And there's a gap you have to like jump, and it's very, very scary to go from critiquing yourself that like I'm not good enough, I don't look the way I'm supposed to, this isn't right, I hate seeing myself, and to like jump that gap to be like I am looking at myself to see where I am and how to better myself, or how to continue growing, or how to improve, or even bigger gap to like I accept where I am right now because that's perfectly valid for the place of life I am currently or the training I have. And it's a very scary gap to jump. I love group classes because I believe in just move, just do. I'm just gonna push you. I'm gonna keep pushing you further. You don't think you can do that move? Let's do it 1,000 times. And they get to a place where they're jumping that gap without knowing they're jumping the gap, because I know how scary that can be to do by yourself. And like, I want to get you to the other side and then allow you to look back at what you jumped over to be like, oh wow, I did that. I'm at a place where I can both accept myself and improve myself. And it is possible, because I know from practice how hard that can be to do, to try to climb or walk across by yourself. And like, it will always be a challenge to try to do on your own, but I'm glad to hopefully smooth out that transition for a lot of people. It's definitely affected my teaching structure, knowing that we're all kind of living our own truth, because I've been able to realize nobody learns the same way. We all have a different way of getting somewhere. I'm able to get people to learn things faster than they would normally learn with anybody else, and it's very validating to see people pick up things that even a month ago they thought was impossible for their physical body. It's such a pleasure to watch people discover themselves further. It's really fed into my inquisitive nature because when you see a person dance, you learn so much about them, and it's very vulnerable because you learn people's fears, and you get to go on that journey with them as they struggle with themselves and their fears. Past Christian wasn't sure what his next steps were, and like that was scary and bad for that headspace. Past Christian wasn't comfortable with the things he was wearing, but also felt like he had to be grateful because like he didn't get to choose them. They were just given to him and put on him. Past Christian wasn't in charge of like where he went and when, even if he wanted to. And like he's wanted so much more out of life. And now I'm in a place where I actively make decisions for my own benefit to grow myself. And I make decisions in the dark without knowing what's going to happen next. And I know that's going to be okay. I remember sitting myself down as past Christian and being like, when are you going to get better? And looking at myself now and knowing like I'm not fully where I want to be. And that's okay because I know I'm on my journey and feeling satisfied with that answer. There's also a lot of freedom and liberation with that I feel like past Christian will be like, I get to feel that way while still in the middle of progress. That's wonderful. If we can find worth in ourselves as we are currently, I think it will make the road we travel that much easier.